Hello everyone, this is Jyoti. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about the new CCNA 200-301 Cisco Certified Network Associate. So in this video, we'll be talking about what are the new topics that have been added in CCNA, what are the changes in the CCNA exam, and also the Cisco certification path. So without much ado, let's get started. You can see here on my screen that the CCNA exam code is 200-301. The duration of the exam now is 120 minutes. The number of questions are 100 to 105. And the passing score is 810 to 825 out of 1000. Now, if you know, the earlier CCNA exam used to be for 90 minutes. That was the duration. Now, which is changed to 120. The number of questions earlier was 60 to 70. Now it's 100 to 105. Now this changes because Cisco has removed the simulations from the exam which were there earlier. Now there are multiple choice single answers, multiple choice multiple answers, and drag and drops only. So because of that reason, the number of questions have been increased. Now let's see the level of certifications designed by Cisco. So which is the same. There are still 5 levels of certifications: CCT, Cisco Certified Technician. There is CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate. There is CCNP, Cisco Certified Network Professional, CCIE, Cisco Certified Internet Work Expert, and CCAR, Cisco Certified Architect. So here, what are the changes? Let me tell you. So earlier, instead of CCT, there used to be CCENT, Cisco Certified Entry Network Technician, which is now replaced by CCT, Cisco Certified Technician, which is the same. So earlier for CCENT, one exam that was there was ICND1. Now instead of that, it is called CCT, Cisco Certified Technician, which is again not a mandatory or a prerequisite exam for any of the further certifications. But it is beneficial or can be helpful for the beginners. Then next is CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate. Now, what's the change of CCNA here? So earlier there used to be 8 different tracks where you can opt for CCNA and take the exam and become CCNA for that particular track. But now they have combined it into one and made a composite CCNA. The main focus still remains RNS, routing and switching, but there are a lot of other topics that have been added like security, there is wireless, there is automation, there is SD-WAN. So these are the topics that have been added in the new CCNA, and that has become a composite exam for CCNA. Then next is CCNP, which is the same now, but they have changed it to 2 exams. So for CCNP, you need to take 2 exams. One is core, another is concentration. So one core, another is concentration exam. Also for CCNP, there is no prerequisite. Earlier, CCNA was the prerequisite for CCNP. Now that's not the case. After CCNP, there is CCIE, Cisco Certified Internet Work Expert, which is still the same as the earlier CCIE. Then next, I would tell you to go for CCNA exam. You can do the self-practice. You can go through the books, the Cisco Press book, or any books from Todd Lemele, or any good books that you can refer. After that, for lab practices, you can use Cisco Packet Tracer or GNSC. These are really helpful and very good tools for simulations. These are the topics that are covered in CCNA now. So in CCNA, there is network fundamentals, OSI model, tcp-ip model, IP addressing, subnetting, routing, router fundamental, switching technologies like VLAN, BTP, STP, RSTP, Ether channel, port security, ACL, NAT, HSRP, WAN protocols, IPv6 addressing, monitoring tools, quality of service, SDN, cloud computing, and wireless fundamentals. And there is automation and programmability. So an overview and the basic knowledge of these is also required now. We will also see the detailed Cisco curriculum for CCNA. But before that, let's go ahead and see the career path. So the new career path designed by Cisco is this. So as I just discussed, there is CCT, that is Cisco Certified Technician, then there is associate level. Now, for your information, there is also DevNet and CyberOps Associate introduced by Cisco. So if you want to go for the composite CCNA, that is the fundamental course, you can go for the CCNA 200-301. If you want to specifically choose DevNet and CyberOps, then you can select these ones as well. So that is 200-901 for DevNet and 200-201 for CyberOps. Then next is professional. Now in professional, it is separated into 8 different tracks, like there is DevNet, enterprise, collaboration, data center, security, service provider, and CyberOps. Now, what they have done is in Cisco, they have divided the professional level into different tracks for different specific stream or let's say technology that you want to go for. And the change in the professional level is that in this, you want to take 2 exams. One is the core exam and the other is the concentration exam. So if I show you for the enterprise, so let me click the CCNP enterprise. And you will see here that, first of all, let me scroll down to the bottom. And here you will see the prerequisites. So there are no formal prerequisites for CCNP Enterprise, but you should have a good understanding of the exam topics before taking the exam. So this has been changed entirely because earlier CCNA was a prerequisite to take CCNP. Now there is no prerequisite. Also, in the exam design, they have changed it to core and concentration. So now, if I talk about the enterprise only, enterprise, which was earlier called routing and switching. So there used to be 3 separate exams, CCNP root, switch, and T-shoot, and you had to pass all 3. And you must have a CCNA valid certification to get the CCNP. So after passing all those 4 exams, you get the CCNP certification. But now they have changed that. So there is no prerequisite. So even if you do not have CCNA, that's fine. You can go ahead and take 2 exams for CCNP. First is the core exam. And second is the concentration that you choose out of the ones that are listed over here. So you can see one is for advanced routing and services. There is another one for SD-WAN solutions. There is designing Cisco enterprise networks. If you want to go for the design track, if you want to go for designing Cisco enterprise wireless networks or implementing Cisco enterprise wireless networks, and there is one for automation also. So whatever track you want to go for, you have to take first exam, that is NCore, which is the same for all the concentration exams, and then select any one, at least, or any one concentration exam. So once you pass one of the concentration exams, you will get the CCNP certification for that particular track. Now going back to the career path, you can see for professional level, the same way we have different tracks. So for each, you have to go for NCore or let's say the core exam and then the concentration exam. Then next is the expert level where you have to take one written exam and one lab exam. So if I talk about the enterprise one, you can see the required exam is one written exam, which is the core NCore exam, and the CCIE routing and switching lab exam. So which is quite similar, but instead of the separate CCIE written exam, you can take the professional level core exam and then you can go for the lab exam for the expert level. Now let's see the Cisco curriculum that is launched by Cisco. So you can see the exam description here for 200-301, it's 120 minutes. You can see that a lot of new topics have been added over here. So let's get started and look at the exam topics. So there is network fundamentals, in which you can see there is routers, there's L2, L3 switches, the new devices types introduced is next generation firewalls and IPS, access points, controllers. So now you should also know about these devices. Then there is different architecture types, that is 2-tier architecture, 3-tier, spine and leaf, WAN, SOHO, on-premises, and cloud. Then the cabling types, which remains the same. Okay, then there's physical interfaces cabling types, interfaces cabling issues, TCP-ip, which is the same, IP addressing and subnetting, which is again the same. Now, the next here is Cisco wireless architecture and AP modes. This is something new that they have added. Then the new topics, if I tell you, there is quality of service, advanced VLAN settings, there is security fundamentals. So in the security fundamentals, there is the key security concepts, threats, vulnerabilities, exploits, and mitigation techniques. There is user awareness, training, and physical access control. Okay, there are various security types in layer 2 and layer 3. There is DHCP snooping, dynamic ARC inspection for security. There is WLAN, which is for wireless. Then we can see there is automation and programmability. So there is also the overview of what is automation and programmability, what is SDN architecture, what are the different controller based on software defined architectures, overlay, underlay, and fabric. Then you should know about the APIs, northbound and southbound APIs. You should know the traditional campus device management and Cisco DNA Center enabled device management. So these are some new topics that have been added. There is also JSON. So a little bit about JSON encoding you should know. This was about the new CCNA, the new topics that have been added. So now you have to also focus on the new CCNA topics like automation, wireless, quality of service, SDN, and security. So for those who are planning to go for CCNA, these are a few things that you have to keep in mind, that not only the routing and switching, but also automation, wireless, security, quality of service. These topics have been added in the new CCNA. And while taking the exam, there are a few things that you have to keep in mind, that in the exam, you can click next when you go to the next question, but you cannot go to the previous question. So there is no back button. So whenever you attempt a question and you click next, just make sure that you have attempted it correctly and you are sure that you want to go next. Also, it may be good or bad for some people that there are no simulations, but there are more number of questions and more multiple choice questions. And there are drag and drops. So out of these, if you compare from the multiple choice single answers, multiple choice multiple answers, and drag and drops have the highest weightage, and then the multiple choice multiple answers, and then single answers. So accordingly, you can practice. There are a lot of and tons of material that you can find online to practice. So the better approach is to first read and practice the theory and hands-on lab. And then once you're ready with that and you feel comfortable and confident enough to go for the exam, just book your exam. And before that, just make sure to practice a lot of questions related to the exam to just get an idea of what an exam looks like. I hope the video was beneficial for you, and I hope you liked it. Thank you very much.